Hello and welcome back to the Pub Test Podcast. I'm your host, Tommy. I didn't say it's your boy, but I'm rebranding. Now, joined here today, Riley is back from England.
Thanks, Tom.
Well done.
Oh, I thought there was going to be more there, but okay. Right. Well, yeah, I'm back.
Not
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah, it is good to be back. I've tried to listen as much as I could while I was away. Didn't get to listen to all of it, but tried my best. You guys did great. I was actually worried that I was going to be out of a job because Corey, Man, and who else was it? Dan did great jobs.
Hoops.
And continue to do great jobs.
Yeah, keep getting brought back.
Corey's
There's
basically
a reason for it.
He's basically he's not a guest. He's getting upgraded from a guest to a co-host. Sounds a bit much, but
We're not just here to take part. We're here to take over.
He's starting to get a cut, I'd say. A cut of the pie, I think. Yeah.
Correct.
When that day comes.
I'm going to keep showing up.
But
keep putting a microphone in front of me.
baby.
will we have you next week as well? Because I think Fletcher's away next week as well.
He is.
So Corey again next week, maybe.
I tend to be around. My team's in the Western Conference,
Yes, so next week.
I'm around.
All of ours are, funnily enough.
Yeah, how about that?
That'll be a tough one because there's a lot of questions in the East, but I think in the West, arguably even more so. But anyway,
Loaded conference.
We'll save that
for a different
next.
pod.
Correct, because this is a footy pod.
This is the footy pod.
Second guess myself. I don't want to say it's the wrong one, but yes, this is the footy pod. And I think, Riley, am I right in saying that today we are reviewing our predictions from the
pre-season? Yes, we had a lot of them, and we will find out whether they were good or not.
Yeah.
Nothing in it for me.
Am I right? You're reading Fletcher's ones?
Yeah. I've got all the Fletchers, so I get to throw all the shade his way without copying any repercussions.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, anything else you want to say, Tom, or can we jump on it?
I'm happy to get stuck in to see who's got the most wrong.
Beautiful.
I don't think there's many right here, but
all right, let's do it.
They're meant to be bold predictions, right?
That's true. Correct.
That's correct. So I was on a tube ride. For context, I was on a tube ride to, where was I going? To London. And I thought, you know what? We're going to do this episode. I'll be a good man. I'll listen to them all and note down everyone's as they go. So we've got them all here. You guys have got yours. Mm-hmm. First prediction that we had. First question was, who's the toughest team to predict this season? I want to throw to Fletcher first. Fletcher, how did you go? Who was your prediction and how did it go?
Fletcher had West Coast as my toughest team to predict. I've got here in the apostrophes ageing, injury-prone list who, at their best, are very good. But what's the plan? Well, those injury-prone, ageing players did not provide
more
any
injury-prone.
Yeah, just kept piling on. I mean, those sort of players, when available, didn't perform. I mean, Gaff had a terrible year. There was McGovern was okay when around, but even he was down on his normal production. I mean, we all know how West Coast went. It's one of the worst years in recent memory.
Are they the worst team of the 2000s?
Be pretty close.
The worst I can think of, yeah.
Them and Melbourne circa 09.
Yeah.
Melbourne, the tanking, was it Neald? Bailey?
Yeah.
When they lost to Geelong by like
233 to 47.
Yeah.
So it's burnt in my brain.
Memorable game.
That was 09, 10, 11, that sort of areas.
So it'd be matching them. It'd be matching them for sure.
You'd have to say the worst to come as well.
Do you think they get worse?
I can't see them getting.
Jeez, there's every chance.
Better next year.
Because you look at their list, and I don't know if we speak about them later on, but we just can now. There is no young talent, and I think we said that at the start of the year and throughout the whole year. No young talent, apart from Oscar Allen and Gimby.
Yeah,
and if all those old guys that you would have thought would perform are out the door and moving on, where to go?
It is absolute business, like failure. Yeah. The way that they've structured these contracts, it is absolutely disgusting. Like they have some of the highest paid players in the AFL who barely touch the turf because they are always hurt.
Yeah,
a bit of
that's luck as well.
It is.
Which I suppose they're a little hard done by, but
sucked in West Coast fans.
Tommy couldn't be happier.
I was going to say I am the driver of the sucked in West Coast fan base, I think. But
on that note, Tom, who is your toughest team to predict?
Now, I'm not sure we're going to talk about this team later. Mine, I wrote down Port Adelaide, but I do want to credit myself that I had them doing quite well this year, and you boys were very surprised. Well,
how long did that take? Let's have a look. 5 minutes. Yep. Sounds about right.
I literally wanted to do this episode just because I wanted to pump my own tyres. I did predict Plowley pretty good. But yes, I mean, they were the toughest team to predict for me because their top end talent was good enough to be a top 4 side. And they were not contending, but they were up there just recently. But then last year was a very down year, so that's what made them a tough team for me. But I'm not sure, is that a win or a loss? Because I guess they're subjective. Is that a win? Because I guess I don't think you can win or lose this one.
These ones I did not
You can't win or lose
assign a tick or a cross.
You can't really, because I mean,
But your other prediction was a tick, I'll say.
Yes.
When you saying Port Adelaide will be good,
Yes.
when we scoffed at you, that's a big tick.
I'll take
And
that.
I apologise for that.
Hey, no,
Premiership contenders, that's what you flagged them as?
I
wasn't
did.
Yeah, you said under pressure to win.
Yes, I
The
did.
flag.
it? Yeah, that was the
I tried to backtrack pretty quickly. I remember, could you clip that and put it on the
Correct.
Yeah,
You put
no,
it on the
gotta
thing.
own it.
Tried to backtrack pretty quickly there, but it worked out all right in the end. So.
Were you worried after round 2 when your boys beat them by about 90 points?
Yeah,
at
I
the G?
was there. I was very worried. It was weird 'cause they smacked Brisbane the week before and then got absolutely smacked by Collingwood.
Yeah.
But that turned out all right in the end. But yeah, Riley, what was yours?
I was St Kilda. And I think it's I in my notes from what I said, they got a new game style, a lot of young talent, but can the new system click? Because obviously Ross the Boss has from what he was at Freo and St Kilda previously, a very different game style, I'm not going to say boring, but it's probably not the normal 2023 game
Just
style that
defensive,
works. Yeah,
yeah.
it's quite defensive, it's quite old-fashioned. So I was just curious as to whether it worked. And after 8 weeks, you thought, gee whiz, they are absolutely flying. There was calls of like premiership contender. Never really bought it, but they were up there in the 4.
Yeah.
Then it felt like they were an average team for the last, 4 months of the year and still somehow made the 8.
Yeah, well, the last few weeks, I thought they stormed home pretty well, but
Yes,
yeah,
true. And then
definitely bang average.
got bundled out. I didn't watch that game. It was at an awful time in the UK, but
Giants
from the looks of it, they got
They wouldn't have
smashed.
lose that game.
Yeah. So they've sort of finished where I said their ceiling was. I said their ceiling was about 7-8 and they actually beat that. So that's an X for me. Let's say that. That's an X.
Okay.
Yep. Happy with that?
I
I'll
was-
cop an X.
I'm surprised you'd have an X for that. I reckon that's a bit harsh.
I would say that was
Yeah.
spot on because no one predicted them.
Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
many
Landing
predict.
where they
All right,
I
hang
don't
on,
think
just give me a
many-
second.
Change to a 2. I don't think many had them like potentially making the 8. So the fact that you flagged that they had the ability to, I reckon that's honestly a tick.
Cheers, boys. Cheers. All right. Yeah, baby. Next one. Another on a similar vein. Now it could be subjective, or as we might debate in a sec, is it objective? A bad team that we'll enjoy watching. I'll leave you for a second.
Okay.
Fletcher, what have you got?
Well, I believe the two of us both had the Hawks being a team to watch. Obviously, my side, not Fletcher's side.
Yes.
My boys, the Hawks. Yeah, I mean, in the end, took some scalps. I like to think we played a pretty fun style. Not the sort of complete rampaging, fast corridor play that I thought we would play. Thought we would go with in the end, but we were able to adapt our game style, and surprisingly, our midfield sort of held up. I mean, I certainly enjoyed watching us play this year.
Oh yeah,
I like
you
watching
have
us
to.
knock off Tom's boys and the Lions and a few of the like. But yeah, no, I tend to give that a tick.
Oh, absolutely,
I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's a tick.
Yeah.
absolutely. Probably
For
the
sure.
off the top of my head, I'd say the best of the bad teams. You would say
Yeah.
in that like bottom 4 or 5, the best of those, or provided the most hope.
It's
I would say.
I think it's what you hope a rebuild looks like. Is that not going to be competitive every week, and there was a period where you'd play well one week, bad one week, well one week, bad. But what you hope for is that you knock off 1 or 2 big sides and you're competitive in a lot of games. I think Hawthorn did that, so that is a resounding tick in my opinion.
Yep. I said like you said, I was Hawthorn as well. You took the words right out of my mouth. So straight on to you, Tom.
We're going to debate this because I put in the chat before you got here and you said let's save it. My bad team will enjoy watching is the Giants, and the reason why we have this debate is I want to know if that's a tick or not, because I think everyone enjoyed watching him, but they weren't bad.
You are absolutely delusional if you think you're getting a tick.
Why?
They made the preliminary final,
But did you predict them to get out of the bottom 4?
but they weren't a bad team. They have to be a bad team.
I have highlighted here bad team.
Yeah,
And they weren't that.
they weren't bad.
Anyway, Okay.
They lost to the Premiers by a point.
But I also highlight enjoy watching, and I think everyone enjoyed watching
Sorry.
the Giants.
That is not how it works.
You don't get half marks.
Yeah, that's like a bizman teacher saying you didn't discuss. But I said the other part, you did not discuss. You didn't do the keyword bad team.
I mean, I don't think anyone predicted them to. So you were saying I needed to pick a team that I knew would be bad.
Correct.
That's
Corey, thoughts?
Did a lot of people have the Giants being bad before?
bottom 4.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. I had them being really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had them being like 14th or something. Like I had them be lucky and finish outside the bottom 4, but I thought they'd win enough games because their top end talent was so good.
I know I did too, so I see how you got there.
I don't understand what you're saying.
However, they just weren't bad.
So I don't think it should be I think it should be a void because we just didn't expect them to be bad.
No, I think you're wrong.
It's just wrong.
Come on.
It's just wrong.
It's a void.
But that's like saying, I liked watching Brisbane this year. They were a good team.
I just think because we didn't think they'd be this good. I think I should get a void bet.
Leave it to the socials,
Yeah,
perhaps.
yeah, we'll discuss that. Anyway,
Fine.
next one. Now, this is where it gets very subjective. All right, we can get into this now.
Yep.
Recruit of the year. Tommy, you go now.
Okay.
What'd you have?
I'm going to get my bad one out of the way. One of them was Griffin Logue. He was bad and then got injured. So that one is an L. What I will say, though, Tom Mitchell was my other one. And he had an amazing start to the year where I think probably after the first 2 months, I think it was a big tick. But then he went through a period in the middle where he was no good. He looked slow, got subbed out twice. He was the sub once. And he was looking like he could have lost his spot. But he's come home with a wet sail, was very big in our grand final. So that we won, just a reminder. So
sakes.
I don't think he's not the recruit of the year. So on a technicality, it's probably an X, but I'm happy with that one.
No, that's recruit of the year, probably a very
it's not the one.
harsh way to put it, but a
Yeah.
good recruit, Tom Mitchell, that is a tick for me.
I think he'd be in the top 10 for sure. I think he'd be close to the top 5 recruits, but he's not the one. So I think it probably is a little mini X.
He filled a real need for the Pies, and
Yeah.
that's what you want to do.
Correct.
That's what you want from your recruits.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
I'm happy with that.
Definitely a tick there.
Fletcher, what you got?
So Fletcher's gone with Jack Gunston, and I mean, what we saw from this year wasn't the Jack Gunston that I'm certainly used to seeing over the years. I dare say Fletcher went with this because he had his doubts about the Brisbane forward line before the season started, and due to them just flourishing and firing on all cylinders down there, especially their smalls, there just wasn't a spot for him come the end of the year. I know he had a little injury worry there in the middle of the season and just never got back. It's hard to know what sort of influence he had around the club otherwise, helping Joe and Eric improve, I suppose. But to say he was a good recruit on field,
He got
I
dropped.
don't think I can give that to him.
He got dropped.
Yeah.
So him and Rich got dropped mid-year. So, yeah, I mean, you're right. He clearly had a niggle. So it's hard to say it's a bad one because you're right. There's every chance that he could have been really great for Dano and Hipwood. Both had really good years. So you're right that maybe what we're seeing that he was barely kicking a goal a game. So on field probably looks bad, but Hipwood had his best year, I reckon, ever. So there's every chance that he was very helpful off field. So
That's why I will give Fletcher/Corey a tick, because he actually, when I was listening to it, he mentioned that exact thing. He said his stats might not be great, but
did he?
he will help Danaher and Hipwood develop.
Well done.
So
That's awesome.
That's a tick then.
that's a tick.
Absolutely.
Well
For
done,
Fletcher.
Fletcher in Darwin, punching the air right now. Well done.
A hot, sweaty mess punching the air. You beauty.
Well done. There you
Well
go.
tanned,
Didn't know
I'm
that.
sure.
Yeah. Wow.
So mine was Tim Taranto, which I felt was a bit of a cop-out, but I didn't think he would have been this good,
Agree.
I would say. As seen, he polled
That's
very
fair to
well
say.
on Brownlow night. I sort of said best and fairest sort of areas. I don't know if they've held their best and
He won
fairest
it.
yet.
He
He
won
won it.
He won it.
Beautiful. Tick.
Tick.
But yeah, he had a great
Oh,
year.
nice.
Really great year. It was not short of critics, but he was very consistent. Didn't get helped by Richmond, their midfield not being overly strong. Hopper got injured. Presti always injured. So they probably need to stock up again or have some young kids who start to flourish a bit more. But he looks like the man for Richmond's midfield for quite a long time. So I will happily have a tick for that.
Yep.
Now,
Giving himself a tick.
yeah.
Bold.
Thanks,
Take
boys.
it and run.
Cheers. Over under wins. Now, before the season, obviously, like Sportsbet, etc., gamble responsibly. Have
Irresponsibly.
Yeah, I know who I'm talking to here. Jesus. They sort of set an over-under line. So, like, for example, 13.5, 14.5, etc. for those who don't know. And we sort of chose a couple that we thought we really liked for an over or under. So we had a couple each. Fletcher, first. What'd you have?
We'll start with the one that he did get. He went with the Gold Coast under 10.5. Yeah, that's money for Jam, that. They ever had more than 10 wins?
They usually get around, because they usually challenge to the 8 and then just don't get there. They're usually 12, 13.
Fall off after the bye, and they finish with 9. So,
well done.
Yep, justice. That's a tick.
Yeah.
Nice.
Take that.
Yep.
Comfortably.
As for his other one, he seemingly thought Melbourne were going to drop off. He had them unders for 13.5 wins.
That's extraordinary.
Oof, it has to be double X.
Yeah, and they finished with a crisp 16. So
That's a hell.
And that'll also come into the equation later when we look at something else, which makes me very confused.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
anyway, we'll get to that.
Oh, if we're going to look at his ladder thing, we have to talk about that, because the Collingwood one's the worst one. We'll talk later. Can't get over that.
Yeah, that's awful, hey. They got 16 wins.
Yeah, wow.
Absolutely nowhere.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Yeah, top 4 side.
Rough.
Could have locked that in at the start of the year, surely.
Yeah. So was that he had a couple? Is that it?
2.
Cool.
Just the 2. He just had the 2.
Cool. Thomas.
Okay, my Brisbane one was over 14.5. That was an easy win. For me, that was money for Jam. I thought that was bank interest.
Yep.
This one was bad. Richmond. Now, bear in mind, I had 15 teams going over their wins, okay? And to make sure for the NBA one next podcast, I've not done that. Richmond over 13.5. They got 10. Now, what I will say in defence of myself, and I will go into bat for myself, Tom Lynch got injured. And I think he's worth at least 1 or 2 wins himself. So it's still an L. I don't think they get to 14 with Lynch, but I do think they don't get to 10. I think they get to 12 at least.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
So I think
sure.
it's a tick. No, sorry, a cross. Sorry, it's a cross. It's a cross.
Tried to slide that one in there.
It's a cross, but it's not as bad as it looks, in my opinion.
Yeah. Fair enough. That was really borderline. So that was ballsy that you went for that. I was too scared to do it. So fair play for going for it.
Brisbane was the easy one, so I wanted to pick one risky one.
Yeah, they smashed that one.
Close competition though, Tommy. You care to mention that? That you had a bunch of teams seemingly going to have 15 wins. It actually was pretty close.
There you go. Nostradamus Santorino. No.
My
not
God.
actually like every team having 15 wins.
No, I mean, obviously I had a few people come up to me and say, Tommy, you can't have 14 teams having 13 wins.
Yeah, Jake Lambert was a big...
Yeah, he was a big one.
Big
so
critic.
I've made sure for our NBA predictions, I have not done that. So that'll be the first and last time you hear me do that kind of areas.
Nah, that's okay. All about the big calls. Myself, not great for me. First one was Essendon, 10.5 wins. I went under, and they got 11. So they just pipped me by one.
Just missed out.
Just by one. Early in the year, I thought they were going to smash this. And then they turned into an absolute rubble of a team.
They
so
should have smashed it.
just missed out on that one. But that's an X for me. The next one, speak of money for Jam, West Coast, 8.5 wins. Are you kidding me?
Bank interest.
I could not believe my eyes. Honestly, if I had bigger cojones, I would have put a sizable amount of money on that.
Yeah.
Because that's just ridiculous. With the whole storyline around them in pre-season and last year, there was no way they were winning 9 games or more.
Could not believe it.
And they won 3. So, and one of them was right at the end against the Dogs.
Lucky to win 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous. So anyway, that was an easy tick. And then I had Geelong over 14.5, and they did not get close. That was bad. We got 10.
To be fair, I think we all thought that Geelong were not morals win the flag, but I think we all thought they're guaranteed to be around there again. So I thought that was probably the safest bet of the lot.
Yeah, that was poor, really poor. But anyway, all good. We move on.
We move swiftly
as Ben
onwards.
Simmons says, no.
Oh, no.
So, all right, here we go. Bold prediction,
Give me the floor.
please.
I was spot on. No, I'm filthy. You haven't put a tick next to this one.
I forgot. I'm sorry.
My one was Freo to miss the 8. So they the double tick, baby. I think a lot of people had them making the 8 because they were the 5th last year. That home first final, didn't
Correct.
Still one of the youngest sides in the comp too.
they? So and getting Luke Jackson in, I went against it and I was right. So that was cool.
It was a big call and you were right. I remember you mentioned their forward line
Couldn't
struggles.
kick
Yeah,
goals. Yeah.
and you were absolutely spot on.
Yeah, Jackson did look good though, But it just and they started to slowly work out that Jackson Darcy combo. It's still not long term. Like, I think they got to get rid of Darcy. I think a Darcy Geelong would be perfect, to be honest.
Please and thank you.
That'd be ideal. There were rumours about that towards the back end of the season because Jackson, when he was the number one ruck, looked unreal. So yeah, I think that their foreline's still an issue, and that's why I went with it. So
Yeah, fair play. I'm proud of you.
That's so alpha. That's like demeaning.
All right, Fletcher.
Well, Tommy, I might give you the floor again, maybe. Fletcher had the Pies to miss the 8.
Oh boy, that's why he's in Darwin.
Talk about a bold prediction.
He has flown to Darwin after hearing we're doing this.
It's a good week to go missing. Obviously, everyone knows how the Pies ended up. Yeah, look, I'd love to
see his face.
know where his brain was at when he was thinking that one, but.
To be fair, Collingwood they weren't predicted to get. For me, I had them in the bottom part of the 8, so I don't think it was the worst prediction ever. But as we'll find out later, Fletcher had 1 week had them missing, and the next week making it. So,
Bit of a backtracker.
Yeah, and his reasoning. I wish we could play clips because I want to be able to hear his reasoning again because it was most bizarre.
Remember?
It was because he did the predictor for the first 5 weeks and had Collingwood like 4-1. So he had these ladder predictor was in the 8, but in his head he was like missing the 8. So literally, so he had them. So he had one segment in the 8 and one segment out of the 8. So
criminal double cross.
Yeah. But I don't think it was as bad. Obviously, on the flag, because it looks terrible. But Collingwood were predicted to be in the bottom half of the 8. So I don't think it's the worst one ever. But, I mean...
No, it just comes back to bite, doesn't
yes,
it? Yeah,
correct.
This is worst case scenario for him and his bold prediction.
Yes, it hasn't looked great, does it?
That's rough. And you did win the grand final, so well done for that. I haven't actually said that formally.
Thank you. But you did send me a really nice text, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
How good's winning grand finals?
Oh, it's just...
Now I can join in. Look, it's great, boys.
Look at us.
There's nothing like it, especially as like a teenager to adult, I'd say. Because as a kid, like when you're... What?
I was 10 when Collingwood won.
You were 10, I was 7, 9, 11. You were...
Moving on.
Whoever's editing this, scratch that. Jesus.
So you were 7 years old, 9 years old, and 11 years old.
Yes. And Corey was young for 08.
Yeah, so. It is different when you're a bit older. It is a bit.
Just talk.
It is a bit different to winning it when you're a bit older. I think you can appreciate it a bit more. I think Collingwood were, I'm speaking from experience, I'm sure you guys could say the exact same thing. Collingwood was so good for so long that it was kind of like we're going to win one eventually. Whereas, obviously, we're bad for 1 year, but just knowing that Collingwood is not the most liked team, it just felt sweeter when you're a bit older. But
and especially after you lose one, you think, was that the chance?
Correct.
For the next 10, 15 years.
Correct.
Because they don't come very often.
No.
So you start to panic.
No. Yeah. So you can appreciate it more for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. I had... this is awful. GWS to win their first 2 and then lose the next 10.
Remember that? Yeah.
And it was really bold.
Yeah, it wasn't that terrible, was
because my reasoning was they played... I've got it written here. They played 7 of last year's top 8 from rounds 3 to 12.
Yep.
And I had them to be quite bad, like 15th, 16th bad. And I thought, you know what, let's just roll with it. They were 4 and 8.
3, wasn't it? Was it 3 or 4? Maybe it was Carlton. Not
Hold the phone.
Should speak more to the fact that you had them starting slow.
And I think they kind of did.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's a...
Is that one of your, like, what you said before?
A little mini tick. Is it a mini tick or a mini cross?
That is more of a tick than saying that GWS is a bad team.
Come on. Get in there.
Fine.
And he agrees too. Did you hear that side?
That's fair. I think you... Obviously, the technicality, it's wrong, but I do think you predicted a very slow start, and you're right.
And let's forget the fact that I thought they'd stay bad. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
The season's 12 games long, mate. What are you talking about? Yeah.
They were bad.
But they were 15th when they started the resurgence.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Tick.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to...
Starting Giants.
A couple of awards here. It'll just be a quick...
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much discussion with these, just rapid fire. So, Rising Star, Tom, who'd you have?
Ashcroft, didn't get injured, would have won.
Yeah. I had Ashcroft as well. Fletch?
Fletcher had Sheasel.
Fair play.
Well done, Dick.
Fair play to Fletcher. Coleman medal. Tom?
Well, Tom Lynch.
Yeah, same.
Also Tom Lynch.
Oh, wow.
That went really bad.
Fancy that.
Really bad.
How many goals he kicked?
Not many.
How many games did he play?
A
Sorry.
month? Did he play I think he got injured.
No more than 4.
Yeah, I think it's a month maximum.
I had him in my Supercoach draft. It was a disaster.
Ouch.
I don't think I'd change my side
Hang on,
after he
if you
got
can
injured.
wait.
Key forwards actually make me sweat at night in like any sort of. I'm trying to think what the equivalent of that would be in fantasy basketball.
4.
Anyway. 4.
He played 4 games and kicked 9 goals.
Goal to game ratio wouldn't have won it.
Still good though.
It's still decent.
Still good.
Yeah. He would
What
have
if
been
he
up
played
there.
West Coast? Did they play him twice?
That's true.
He played the Dogs, Magpies, Crows, and Blues. So that's a pretty good set. So yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm happy to call it a win.
For all 3 of us? Okay. Sounds good. Brownlow. I'm going to not you. Fletch. Sorry, that was really rude.
Fletcher had Clary to win it. He only ended up polling 6 votes, which is incredible. I mean, Petrarca had a great year and pinched a few votes from him, and Clary obviously had his injury troubles.
Or did he?
Yeah.
Or did he?
Or did he?
Or did he?
We're not here to speculate about rumours. We deal with facts, and he only polled 6 votes. Yeah, I mean, I struggle to remember how many games he missed. Was it about 8 or 9?
It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was at least 2 months.
It was a lot, but even then, like 6 votes. Like in the games that he played, he was
a star.
spectacular.
Well, Viney polled a lot better than everyone thought. So I think that's where the votes went. I think
Yeah.
everyone sort of knew Petrarca would be up top 3, top 5, but no one expected Viney. Viney had a good year, but
He did, yeah.
probably not to the point where maybe he would have polled 15 to 20 votes, I'd guess. But that's a lot. So that was a surprise.
Oliver
plenty.
played 15 games, averaged 30 touches, and that was 6 votes.
6 votes.
Yeah, unbelievable.
That's so surprising.
When someone, that's bizarre. Because he butchers it sometimes, but someone like Taranto was the exact same, and he polled extremely well.
Was it people maybe getting over voting for him and looking elsewhere? I'm not
Maybe.
sure. Yeah,
Maybe. I
Sort
have
of
no idea.
looking into impact with the ball more. I'm not sure
Because that is such a low number, 6 votes.
Yeah.
You think he'd have a
For
couple of
someone of
threes
his
in there.
Quality.
Bizarre. But
Something wrong there.
now, I got a surprise for you, Tom. I was listening back to that episode where we did the individual awards,
Yes.
and I found something that I thought was quite interesting.
Uh-oh.
I like this. I like the sound of it.
Get votes. I think Cripps will finish higher than Andrew Brayshaw.
I disagree. I'm happy to check on that.
What do you?
How much
A
money?
live bet on it,
How much money
right?
did I put
Wait
on?
a bet?
$10.
$10.
Bluey.
Yeah, right.
Put a bluey on it.
Yeah, right. $10.
Shake of the hand.
Like, yes, free money.
You can't hear it, but that's a shake.
That's a
So
shake.
Riley's got Cripps, the
Brayshaw.
reigning Brownlow medalist. Just want to put that in there. And you've got Angus Brayshaw.
Just bet.
Fletch said Angus
It
Brayshaw.
was
That is not true. We bet $10
Wow, fair play.
on who would have more votes on Brownlow Medal night. Patrick Cripps or Andrew Brayshaw? Do you want the numbers, or do you want to just give me the 10?
I know I reckon Cripps overpolled, but I think he still would have smacked Brayshaw. I reckon it'd be like 15 vote difference.
You're close. Cripps polled 22 votes. Brayshaw got double figures. He got 10.
Wow.
So,
Both
Fair play.
surprised me.
big time.
Yeah, both.
Because
surprised
Andrew was very good. From someone who I had him in my Supercoach team, he was outstanding
me.
for the
Top
second
5
half of the
in
year.
disposals,
I think it was just
So
Sarong
they-
was just so. I
fantastic.
think it was just Sarong was just so amazing.
He
but
was.
fair enough.
So, yeah, care to comment?
I mean, yeah, touche. I think that's a. I will say that I know I don't want to sound like sour grapes here, but I think anyone predicted Cripps to get that many votes. I think that we had this discussion, Riley, that Chera had a better year.
I did,
but-
so-
Riley did.
Before the season started.
But no, fair enough. That's $10 well earned.
Thank
So,
you.
well done.
Cheers.
Cash and checks. Keep
Yeah,
cash
wow.
and checks.
I completely forgot about that.
So, how did you remember it? Oh, you listened
I
to
was
the
listening to
podcast,
it and
yeah.
I thought, Hank, my ears just pricked up. But you beauty.
Fair enough.
Easiest $10 ever.
That is
That's
nearly
crowds.
that is nearly $10. Fair enough.
Thank you.
Well done.
Another quick one. First time All
By
Australian.
the way, I had Bont for mine.
Oh, sorry.
And
as did I.
robbed. Him or Dacre should have won it. So I'm happy with that decision. Robbed.
Yeah, I would almost go to say that. I won't, but I'd almost go to say it. Yeah.
Him or Dacre should have won.
He's got to get one eventually. If he ends his career without a Brownlow,
It'd be sad.
It'd have to be the.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't know a lot about the historic AFL thing. He'd be close to one of the best players to not win a Brownlow, surely.
and
Lee
he's
Matthews.
Oh, okay, yeah.
seriously
that's pretty good. He
never
won
won
it.
a Brownlow.
No.
Wow. Okay.
What?
Yeah, how bizarre.
Okay.
Dipper has one.
Okay. Well, Leith will be one. Bont be two.
That's disgraceful.
Yeah. Wow.
Sorry, that's actually floored me. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, because Bont's probably the best Bulldog of all time.
Yeah, he would be by the end of the career.
Yeah, it's sort of. The
I don't know if it's a big
consensus
call, but it
nowadays,
feels
isn't
like it. Yeah. So if he doesn't have a Brownlow, that hurts.
He
And
should.
he won the best and fairest, didn't he? He's just taken the best and fairest as well.
Again.
Fourth one or fifth one,
Yeah.
something like that.
It was Libba, wasn't it? Libba just had a lot of good games. Took votes from him at the wrong time.
I suppose, but that's always been his problem, hasn't it? Like when,
Yeah.
True.
When it hasn't been Libba, it's been McRae,
Dunkley back in the day.
Dunkley. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, yeah,
Brutal.
play on good teams. You always
Yeah.
have people who are going to take votes from you.
I
You
just
say
don't
the
think
same
he-
thing about Oliver and Petrarca.
Yeah.
Like,
He couldn't have, I don't think he could have played better than he did this year, though.
No, he was
It's just the Dogs didn't win enough games.
I'd argue he had a I reckon we were saying the exact same thing when Ollie Wines won it.
True.
We were saying the exact same thing,
Yeah.
bit for bit. That if the Doggies just won a few more games at the end of the year, that Bontempelli would have a Brownlow around his neck. It's happened again.
Yeah, wow.
We'll just keep predicting him until he gets one
Yeah.
because we want him to get one,
We do.
has
He
to.
deserves one. He just does deserve
Local boy.
one. Yeah.
He's gotta have one.
of course.
Mm-hmm.
All right. First time All Australian. Tommy,
Could we not say
Wowee.
this one? Yeah, these are
Corey, boy, oh boy.
bad. These are bad.
This was not good for
These
Tom.
bold.
Okay, so Aaron Norton was a bad one.
Oh.
Yeah, Aaron Norton was a bad one. Now, what I will say is I had Tim Taranto. I said Tim Taranto as well, but I wanted to be different, by the way. So I'm not sure if... Did Taranto even make it?
No.
Okay, so
He
we're
didn't
in
make the
wrong
squad, did he?
Yeah.
He missed the squad.
Yeah.
He missed the squad.
Oh, wow. Okay,
So
that's a
neither
robbery.
Of the made a squad,
That's
made
a
the
ro-
squad.
But my other one here is LDU. He got injured a lot. So we had 2 3-vote games in a row and then got injured. So it's a loss, but I don't hate that one because he was flying before he got injured. But, I mean, he's played for North Melbourne. Was he going to make an Australian team playing for North Melbourne and be surprised? But, yeah, Norton was a bad one. That was
Yeah.
a really bad one.
Do you want to say your left field one as well?
What was my left field one?
Adelaide key forward.
You
Did not say I said...
Did you say Thilthorpe?
Fogarty.
Fogarty.
I said Fogarty.
Oh,
Darcy Fogarty. If you said Riley Tilthorpe, I would have shoved that microphone down his throat.
Yeah, Fogarty
another
was...
$10
Too
from
fair. 2 years ago, he had a really good year, Fogarty, but yeah, that would have been not great. Well, last year, so, but
he had good moments.
I'm glad I did not... That was not my official pick. Not that Norton was a lot better.
Good
But
job, Tom.
yeah, Al, move on, so don't talk about me.
Okay, sorry. I'm just moving my microphone because it wasn't straight. Corey. Sorry, Fletcher.
Well, another one from his beloved Eagles. He's gone Tom Barras. He did not have a good year.
Got injured a lot too fair. He missed
Yeah.
a chunk.
Yeah, he missed chunks, as did a lot of other West Coast players. But he also had Nick Dacos, and that's a big tick.
Yeah.
Big tick. He was sensational.
I wonder if that was an oversight from us or just sort of expected it to happen.
Well, I think from memory at the start of the year, we just thought he'd get tagged every single week.
Yeah.
So I didn't start him in Supercoach because I just thought every single week he'd get tagged.
That was the consensus going into the season, wasn't it?
Yeah, literally
Yeah.
every week because he got tagged
In the
in the
pre-season.
preseason. Yeah,
Say
McGuinness.
his name. Yeah.
The ice block, Finn McGuinness. SN's calling him the ice block for some reason. But yeah, I think that's a good one because I don't think it was an oversight because we just thought every week he'd get tagged and just didn't.
Yeah. Fair play to Fletcher.
Mm-hmm.
I had Tim Taranto. No. Went all in on my boy Ed Richards. Big no.
Had a decent year though.
Had a decent year.
Yeah.
Had a
But-
great start.
Yeah. Went all in on him in Supercoach as well. Just did not work. That sums up my Supercoach season. But anyway. And the other one I had, which I thought not like he is a midfielder. So it's going to be really hard to make it. But Tom Green. Not sure if he made the squad. Didn't have a look at
Yeah,
that.
he did.
He did make the squad?
Yeah.
Right. Still across. But he had a great year. When he
He's
came
right
back from
there.
injury at the end of the year, he played, the last maybe 2 home and away games and then the finals. Absolutely ridiculous.
Averaged the most disposals in the competition, I'm pretty sure, as well.
Wow. He is a star and
Yeah.
will be for a long time. Another cross because I said that the traditional winger is dead, so we'll continue to see inside mids picked on the All-Australian wing. I was very wrong.
Yeah, well, you would have thought before the season that's money for Jim.
Yeah. And
Too
then
bad.
Goulden
Yeah,
and
went the other
Dacos
way.
turned into absolute bona fide stars.
To be
Both
fair, there
best
weren't
and
many-
fairest winners too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Gordon could have won the Brownlow in the end.
Looked like he was going to do it.
I was rooting for him.
Now that's robbed. That 42
Yeah.
disposal.
His
I mean,
whole run,
Rubbish.
even Dacos' face was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, it makes no
That's
sense. He
ridiculous.
was clearly best done in that game. He
Wow.
didn't track, not pole, in that game as well.
Tracked in pole either.
He was
yeah.
also very good
Viney
in that
got 3 votes,
Yeah.
but to be fair though, for that squad, there were no other wingers nominated. Was there?
Not that I can think
I think
of.
it was just the two wingers with the two guys picked. There weren't any other wingers in the squad, so
Yeah.
it wasn't a bad call either. to be
Nick
honest.
Martin was the only one who sort of got floated, but I don't think he actually made the squad.
He had a really good period, but then he faded late. Don't think he made the squad.
Okay. All right. Just quickly, coach on the hot seat. I forgot.
yeah.
Sorry, I forgot to put that in.
Yeah.
Tom, I'll just say them. Tom, you had Ken Hinkley.
I mean, he wasn't
That
hot
was-
seat. He wasn't a hot seat.
that was
Well,
correct.
It's not wrong.
That was correct. Fletcher, Stuart Dew.
Dub.
And
Tick.
See you later.
That's a massive tick.
He's gone.
Go off to Lords, buddy. And I had Luke Beveridge, which I thought with a couple of rounds to go after that West Coast game, I thought I was going to put a tick next to it.
Looked good there.
Did not eventuate. But
No, they're
how
gonna build
he's
around
still
him.
there, I have no idea.
He's absolutely
Norton.
this year.
Lucas
Cheer.
Kaminkolli, for those playing at home,
Yes.
which is one of the better nicknames I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, I can't wait for Fletcher to talk about that contract that he just got. Norton.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God.
8 years, was it? 7 years?
8.
8.
Just-
He's got the longest contract in the competition, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
There's
You're
no
gonna
one else
be-
signed until 31.
God.
Tom's going to be 33 years old when that contract expires.
Wow. Put that into perspective.
Ugh.
I'm old. Corey's also going to be 33
Yeah,
years
I'm also
old.
gonna be 33. Oh, that's terrifying.
That's so terrifying.
Let's promptly move on. So this one, another like you can tick or cross. Over or underrated teams in the preseason. Like there's a lot of predictions, hype, that sort of thing. And we picked a couple of teams that we thought there's a bit too much hype around them or they're not getting spoken about enough. And we picked 1 or 2 each. Tommy, who'd you have?
I went 1 for 2 here. So my Freo was overrated, big tick. My underrated was the Tigers, big cross.
Freo, mate, you
about
doubled
right.
down and you did well.
But Tigers was a very bad L.
A lot of people had them being good.
Yeah, they did with Taranto and Hopper. I thought they would. There you go.
All right. Speaking of ticks, Fletcher.
Oh yeah, Fletcher went with the Brisbane underrated. In the brackets here, you go. You will not find a better team of 2023 on paper in the AFL, and I reckon he's just about spot on. They have a fantastic list, and I mean they ultimately cruised to the grand final, of which they lost, but gee, they were in it up to their eyeballs.
And they will be right there again next year
Yeah,
if I was a betting man.
They ain't getting any worse.
watch
big-
these Lions.
Yeah, they should. I want them to win one. I really want them to win one. Anyway, 2 crosses for me. Freo underrated. I went to oppose Tom. Why I did that, I have no idea. I don't know what my reasoning was either, but anyway. And GWS overrated. So
You really.
That's
do.
too
I screwed the
bad,
pooch.
That's
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
L's.
So I'm not going to partake in that thing next year because that is disgraceful. But anyway, so last but not least, we've got a couple of our top 8s for the year.
Nice.
So I've got mine and Fletcher's here. I don't know if I sent them to you. I didn't? Okay.
No.
I'll read it out. Did you have yours, Tom?
I don't think I had mine.
That's
Let me see if I
okay.
find it. Did you have it there?
I don't.
I'll go-
I
I'll
apologise.
I'll go to the
So-
drive quickly.
Go to the well, Tommy.
Fletch and I both correctly predicted 5 of the 8 teams to make the 8. I would say that's unders.
You're not happy with 5, though, is it?
I'm not happy with 5. I think he'd want at least 6.
6 a B.
Yeah.
6 is a pass.
Par for the course,
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'd be happy
so
with that.
I incorrectly predicted Geelong, Richmond and Freo to make the 8.
Gee, I reckon a lot of people had those 3 in.
But in place of Collingwood, I didn't.
You had a missing
I
two.
didn't have them in the
Oh,
8,
that
and
missed.
I hid behind not putting them in my bold prediction, which is disgraceful behaviour. But instead of St Kilda and
The
GWS.
Giants, obviously.
So Fletch also had Geelong and Richmond, but he had the Western Bulldogs rather than Fremantle.
Right.
So they were both pretty. Oh yeah, and in here he has Collingwood in the 8.
Yeah, see, I told you.
Yeah, okay.
So-
So he did
That's
hedge his bet.
that's cheating.
That is
So
cheating.
really
So
You don't allow that.
let's say he got 4 out of 8.
Is
I
that cop a
reckon.
fine?
Yeah, surely.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we do that? Podcast fines.
Terrible.
Remove one piece of
Fletcher
clothing.
can pay
I
you
ripped him to
$10
shreds
now
when he
you're
did
$20 richer.
I ripped him to shreds when he did it. I think I got it here.
Okay.
Yes, I do. I found it.
That's a
I
big
got it,
dub.
got on my notes. So, to be honest, I had a rough idea what I did anyway. So
You don't get a tick for it though.
I thought I had Carlton at the 8. I had Carlton in 8th. Okay, good.
You.
I had Port 7th, so that's why how big it was. I still had him in 7th. Pies 6, Sydney 5, Richmond 4,
Ouch.
Geelong 3.
Oh boy.
Then I had Brisbane, Melbourne.
So you also
Brisbane
got,
1, sorry, Melbourne 2.
So you incorrectly got Geelong, Richmond,
You got 5 as well.
and one more.
Uh,
Well, that's it. You only got
So
two wrong.
I had Carlton
Yeah,
right,
Sydney.
Port right, Collingwood right, Melbourne, Brisbane, Sydney.
Yeah,
6.
6.
Pass.
Winner.
Tick.
I
You win. He wins the episode.
Nice.
Well done.
We'll say that I had Saints in 13th and Richmond in 4th. I had some big losses.
Yeah.
So I think we all had Geelong there. So
As Dan would say, you get that on the big jobs.
get that
Oh,
in big
yeah.
jobs.
Because that is a big job. Picking
is a
all
big
18 teams on the ladder in order, that is definition of a big job.
That's the
Nightmare.
So, yeah, I didn't even go past the top 8 because it would just be absolute carnage.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
No, but that was basically, we had more predictions, but there was a lot. So I thought, let's not do all of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
The main ones had a bit of a
Easy
mix
track.
there. So,
Covered all the controversial ones.
yeah.
I like
So
it.
we'll do that again next year. Try and do a
Good
better
fun.
job next time, I'd say, overall.
You weren't trying.
Uh,
You're trying to get away with I wasn't trying.
In second gear.
I actually did think the Giants were going to be good this year.
Worded
I
that
was just joking, guys.
awfully. No, I spent a lot of time doing those.
Yeah.
An awful amount of time. An embarrassing amount of time, I'd say. And it didn't work out. So that's okay. That was good fun, though.
Yeah, nice.
So the season's over. We'll be doing... this will go out on Monday the something, the 16th. There you go, a week from tonight.
Sounds good.
Of October. And then we'll be doing a trade episode once the deadline is... Like, the trade period is over. We'll be talking about...
How long does it go for? It's a week.
A week and a bit.
So it's like Wednesday, isn't it?
Mm.
Wednesday,
I
Thursday?
believe 10 days.
Okay.
So, yeah. We'll have all of that to unpack. I believe some broke. I saw a notification on my phone, a ruckman went to Essendon.
Yeah, that was confirmed.
Who was
before I
that?
got in. Goldstein. Right?
Okay.
Todd? Yeah,
right.
well, we need a goal
Yeah.
someone to go there.
Okay.
So
Cool.
that's gonna happen.
That's a nice. Him
Hey,
and Sammy
hey,
Draper.
Apparently
Yeah,
Draper's injury, Marcus is very worried about him being injured. Like, it's worse than people think. So,
Yeah.
and I'm assuming that Goldstein's also going with the thought of a coaching role.
Yeah. And that is definitely the only acquisition today. So we will end there and leave the rest for a couple of weeks' time. So, Tom, finish us up.
Well, thank you all for listening. Thank you, Corey, for being, well, I say guest, but as I said, you're going to be for
It's part of the furniture,
next few podcasts.
as you guys said
So-
last week.
Yeah, part of the furniture. Who said that?
I think one of you said that last
Well,
week.
it wasn't me. I think it was Fletch.
Yeah.
So Fletcher, he's a way with words, Fletch. He said some bizarre things, but he has some really good sayings too. So thank you for jumping on, Corey. Riley, lovely to have you back.
Thanks, mate. You said that with gusto.
I said that with real gusto. I feel a lot more confident than how I opened the show. So,
Yeah.
Sensational.
as we always say, tell a friend, tell a stranger, like, comment, and subscribe. And thanks for
Tell
listening.
a stranger. See ya.